Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I have a little short one here for you today, and it involves these things. These are quite inexpensive tape measures, and as you can see, they start off quite nice. They're very functional, and I buy cheap ones because, well, I need one. I don't like going to look for one, and I like to have a few around. And after a little while, they start to look more like this, partially because I work with a lot of water and some of that salt water, and the salt, as you can see, is beginning to corrode the end. And not too long after that, you end up with this, which is the tape end has snapped off. And there's almost 25 feet of mostly serviceable tape measure in there. And it's kind of a waste just leaving it like that. And I thought of this idea a long time ago and just never got around to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this apart, and I am going to cut a section of this out and turn it into a little steel ruler. It's not hard to do. You can do it with just regular equipment. I'm going to obviously use the stuff I have in the shop, but you can do this with a hacksaw and a file, and it's quite simple to do. You need to be a little bit careful at this point, or you're going to have tape measure flying everywhere. So I'm just going to pull this out, and I'm going to measure out a little bit of it, and then I'm going to use some tape to prevent the rest of it from unraveling. I was hoping to start at 10, right where my thumb is there, and then go from there, but I noticed right around the 10 mark, a little bit past it maybe, hold on a second here, yeah, I can see a couple of kinks there, and I didn't want to use that part, so I'm going to start at 20. And the reason I'm doing that is all you need to do is ignore the first digit, and it just counts up from 1 to whatever number you want. So I'm going to make one about 13 or 14 inches long. I don't really need a long one, and of course I just want to test this out. So what I'm going to do here is, as you can see, I've already taped up the bulk of it so that it doesn't unravel. And I'm going to start off at the long end, and I'm going to trim off, well, in this case it looks like almost 14, so I'm going to start at 34, which is going to be 14. And it's just a simple matter of putting the tape down low enough to the bed of the bandsaw, just so that it doesn't vibrate a whole lot, and then it comes right off. This is relatively hard metal, but it's so thin that it's not really a big issue to cut. Then I'm going to go over to the 20 mark, and I'm actually going to go back a little bit from that. The reason being is this is the part that matters. This is going to be the 0, so I want to creep up on that and have it as accurate as possible. The other end doesn't really matter. All I need to do is just sand it down and keep it from being sharp, and that's about it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take it to the belt sander. I'm going to start off at the back end, or, well, the end that doesn't matter, and I'm going to take off the edges and basically get used to sanding this. It comes off quite easily, and I wasn't having any issues with it at all. So then I proceeded to do the more accurate end. And one of the things I've always known and felt about measuring devices in general, if you're going to just use one particular item, like a particular tape measure, its accuracy is not that important unless you have very specific dimensions that your project requires. As long as you're using the same tape measure through the whole project, the small amount of variation in it is really irrelevant. It doesn't seem to make any difference at all. In this case, I want to get quite accurate. I'm going to get down to that line as closely as I can, and that's it. That is the end of this. Once it's filed down, or sanded in this case, there's not much else to do. And then I'm going to be using this in a number of different projects because I don't really like, when I'm setting up the stop block on the saw, to use a tape measure. I often use one of the set squares, but I want to give this a try as well. Like I said, it's very light and easy to maneuver, and because the 0 can go right up against the stop block, it should give me quite accurate measurements for well, the distance from the stop block to the saw blade. So that's my hope anyway. We'll give it a try, and we'll let you know, and you'll get to see it, of course, as time progresses. So here it is, done, and I got pretty accurate to it. It is definitely easy to do, so give it a try if you like, and let me know if you've done this before yourself. And thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.